All right, our reading for this week, still reading on meditations on intention and being. This is called A Misunderstanding. The practice of yoga is the dissolving of a misunderstanding of the mind that begins and ends with the belief that we are separate from all that is, be it the natural world, our fellow human beings, or even ourselves. Time spent discovering our natural affection for people toward whom we consider ourselves neutral puts a significant dent in the assumption of separateness. The heart is drawn with compassion to the suffering we see in others and delighted by their happiness. And it holds a powerful generosity, wishing them all of the happiness we want for ourselves. While our heart is open to another person, our mind finds relief from the contracted states of greed, hatred, and delusion, returning effortlessly to spaciousness, ease, and clarity. Wanting the best for one another feels like sanity, salvation, and destiny. Wanting the best for one another feels like coming home. So close the eyes for just a minute. Notice the weight in the body, the weight on the floor, the weight on the earth. Make sure the shoulders are stacked over the hips. Let the elbows be heavy. Pay attention to where the hands are. If they're turned down, does it feel grounding? If they're up, do you feel energetic and excited? And as best you can, try and pull a breath all the way down into the depths of the belly, knowing full well that when we breathe at the beginning of practice, it's really hard. So just be patient, be compassionate with yourself. Don't force it, just breathe through it. And then when you're ready, we'll open the eyes. Lift the arms all the way up into space. Climb that little rope ladder. Move in from one side to the other. Add wrist rolls if you need them. We'll sweep the left arm all the way down. Lift the right arm up on an inhale. Exhale, tip over the body. Use the bottom hand to push. It's up to you how hard you're pushing and how hard you're dipping. You don't have to go very far. We can stay pretty upright here and just push with the bottom hand to get that side rib opening. You can bend the top elbow a little bit, get some extra movement. On the next inhale, we'll sweep everything up over to the other side. Big inhale to lift and reach. Exhale to tip over the body. And I don't usually talk about the bottom hand because it just kind of plants wherever it is. However, you do want it to be in line with your hip. Sometimes people put it behind them or in front of them. You really want it next to or in line with that hip. That helps keep everything in line. Inhale everything back up, arms to meet, palms together, interlace the fingers, lift the palms up and take a peek. Can you see through the fingers? Maybe a little bit, but try and minimize how much you can see. Then we'll lift, reach as far as you can, and then plug the shoulder blades back in so you make room. Indy's having puppy dreams. Nice. As we inhale, lift. As you exhale, we're going to do a little seated cat-cow. Hands come down in front. We'll tuck the chin a little bit round. And then inhale, sweep forward, back up. Take 2 or 3 here at your own pace. Follow your own breath. Try and think about the articulation of the spine here, not over rounding the chest as we curl down, but reaching from the shoulders. And then we'll meet with them back up overhead. Let them float all the way down. Stretch the legs out in front. We'll do a little bit of foot love this morning. I'm going to grab a blanket so I can cushion myself. We'll bring the right foot in so that we can work and interlace the fingers all the way down in between the toes. And the more that we do this, the easier it gets. It's not always fun, but left hand interlaces all the way down. Be careful about any wedding rings here. It may be a little ouchy if you're too aggressive, so be gentle. And we'll sit up nice and tall, ground down through the left heel, dial the toes up. Use the other hand to just hold on to the leg so the leg is jello. We remind ourselves, we're gonna take the left hand and make circles. Big circles, little circles, doesn't matter. Try and take it slow and easy. Then we'll start to pull the toes towards us as if we're pointing the foot, and then gently push away. It's possible if you want to lean forward and kind of rock forward and rock back if you want to, as long as you're hugging the pit of the belly in and up. It's almost like a little baby sit up. You don't have to do it, but you can if you want to. And then take it out on that sandy beach for a little walk. Gently tilt the palm down towards the earth and gently tilt the palm up towards the face. You're not going to make a full rotation with the wrist here. Your toes will talk to you. Honor the edge that they say they're enough. That's good. We don't want to do any more than that. And then your favorite part, squeeze the fingers together and down on the foot. So give it a good squeeze. And then once you've got all of that, add the other hand, ground down through the left heel, sit up nice and tall, lift the corners of the mouth, maybe wave at me with your foot. Good grimacing, I know. This is good to do at the beginning of class. And it is the foundation of our daily walking, so it's good to do. All right, go ahead and release. Shake it out. And we'll switch to the other side. Left foot comes in, interlace the fingers all the way down. Oh, this one I need a little more work on. And then start running it through the paces. If it's hard for you to move the ankle, just make sure that you have the ankle beyond the thigh, enough that you have room to roll the foot around. So roll the ankle, big circles, little circles, whatever you want to do. Noticing if you hear any Rice Krispies, noticing your tendency and your speed. Are you somebody who's just cranking through it as quick as you can, or are you somebody who's really slow? Maybe challenge whatever your natural state there is and try it at a different pace so that you can be more mindful, more present in the moment. Then we'll pull the toes towards us, pointing the foot, push the toes away, pull and push. Again, you can rock forward and back, hinging from the hips if you want to. And then take it on the sandy beach. Tilt the palm up towards the face and turn the palm down towards the earth. Notice the difference. Maybe this foot's easier, maybe it's not. And then when you're ready, squeeze the fingers together and down on the foot, trying to squeeze between the toes, the knuckles coming in between those bones. Add the other hand, ground down through the right heel, sit up nice and tall. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And like all the other postures that we do, this doesn't have to be 100% of every ounce of energy that you have. Maybe you kind of give a little oomph and then back off a little bit. You can pulse, tighten, and relax, and then let it go. Oof. Shake it out. Feet come down, pedal the feet out. All right. We'll do a little bit of hip opening. Be mindful and be gentle. Same thing we just said for the fingers. You don't have to do everything 100%. Give yourself permission to take the shape and put as much energy and effort as you want into it. We're going to bring the right leg up in towards the body. We're going to take the left hand and hold on to the outer edge. Shin should be parallel with the floor. So it looks like it's really close to my body. I'm going to turn sideways so that you know it's not. It's pretty far in front of me. I've got it out here. So you can see how my ankle has a really funky angle to it because I don't have my foot flexed. So I want to flex my foot so I have a nice straight leg. Shin is parallel with the floor. I'm going to sit up nice and tall. If I feel any discomfort back here, put one hand behind you to help sit up tall. Otherwise, we can hold on to the leg and rock the baby from side to side. So I'm taking the foot over to the left side of my body and rocking it out to the side a little bit. Think about it almost like trying to keep that pigeon shape for that front leg, just like we do with our reclined pigeon. Rock a little bit from side to side. We'll come back to the center, point the foot directly in front. I'll turn just so you can see. Right hand catches the outside edge of the foot. And gently, as we inhale, we're going to hug it in towards the body, and exhale, push out in front. I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see my leg is still very, very bent. I'm not straightening it very far. Inhale, hug it behind. Exhale, push. Use the left hand to help you sit up straight if you feel like you're starting to collapse. Just gently pushing out in front. And we're going to push across the body a little bit. So try to walk the foot beyond the left leg so that you can push across the body a little bit. When you push across, you may be able to straighten the leg a little bit more. Bring the foot back to the center. Try and grab hold of the big toe if you can. We're going to turn ourselves into little stars. Right leg opens out to the right. At this point, you can push through the heel and let the leg be as straight as you can. Left arm's going to come out behind you. Make sure you sit up tall. Could you gaze behind you at the back thumb? Maybe yes, maybe no. Slowly bring the back hand to the front so you can grab hold of the foot. Push the leg straight, pull it across the body. Now we extend the right arm behind us. So the legs are sort of crossed. We'll come back to the center, bring the leg back to the center. This is the last part, it's really hard. Let go, and then put it down. Whew. Shake it out a little bit. That can be a lot for the back and the hips. If you want to try and counter pose, you can bring the knees in, curl up a little bit, rock. Anything that feels nice to you. And then we'll move on to the other side. Starting the same way, we're going to rock our babies. So bring that left leg in. Make sure that we flex the left foot. That takes out that funky angle that we can get in the ankle. Lift the shin so that it is parallel with the floor. Sit up nice and tall, hug it in, and rock from side to side. So the knee is kind of in a little arc. It's going behind and it's rocking around to the front. Be gentle. Notice the differences here. Notice where you feel this. And like all hip poses and hip postures, you may not be aware of it right now. You will be aware of it in a couple hours. So be gentle. Remind yourself that it's important to be patient and kind. All right, left foot comes to the front. Grab hold of the outside edge, or you can grab the big toe, whatever makes sense to you. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, hug it in behind you, pulling the knee towards the body. Exhale, extend the heel out in front. Inhale in, exhale, push it out. So it's almost like you're putting a backpack on. You're trying to get that strap back behind you. Mindful about the back. Use the other hand to help you sit up straight if you need some help. And so one of the things we're trying to do here is keep our foot lifted. So it's not just a drop down, it's really pulling towards you and pushing out. So we want to try and keep the foot almost on the same plane. It's going to rock a little bit, but we don't want it to drop down. And we're going to turn ourselves into stars. So left leg comes out in front. We'll open it off to the side. Right arm comes behind. Sit up tall. Use that right leg to counterbalance. Maybe gaze behind you. When you're ready, we'll come back to center. Walk the leg across the body a little bit. Sweep the back hand forward to catch the foot. Extend the leg as much as you can. Push through the heel. Then take the left leg out, the left arm out behind you. Sit up tall, gaze back. Last little piece. We're going to bring the foot to the center, let go of it, and see if you can slowly put it down. And then counter pose. Anything that you want here. That may be curling up into a little ball, telling yourself you did it, you're done. It may be rocking a little bit from side to side, anything that you need. All right. Find a crisscross shape, whichever one you choose. We'll do both sides, so it doesn't matter where you start. Adjust a little bit so you feel grounded on both sides. Inhale the arms all the way up. We'll twist over to the left. One hand behind the back, one hand on the thigh. 2 full breaths here. Inhale, reach through the crown of the head. As you exhale, begin to gaze around behind you, peeking out of the left corner, left eyeball. On the next inhale, we'll sweep the arms up, over to the other side. Same thing, gently come down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. As you exhale, spiral around, maybe close the eyes so you can peek out of the right corner of the right eyeball. When you're ready, we'll inhale back to center. Let the hands come down in front, little spider fingers. We're going to hinge at the hips and walk forward. So sit up nice and tall, walk forward a little bit. And remember, if we want to intensify or increase what we have here, The hands don't have to come out further in front of you. We can bend the elbows to intensify the hinge. So whatever works for you. Take a few breaths, trying to keep the back of the neck long, gazing down at the fingertips or the thumbs. And we'll slowly walk back and switch whichever cross you had. Take it the other way. Notice the differences when you get settled. Fix the foundation. And we'll do one more round of twists. So inhale the arms up. We'll take it to the left. Come all the way down. Use the breath to reach through the crown of the head to make yourself tall. And as you exhale, spiral around, gaze out of the left corner of the left eyeball. Slow and easy when you're ready. Inhale, arms up and over to the other side. Exhale, come on down. Inhale to lift and lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, begin to peer around behind. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, back down. And we'll do the same thing here. Spider fingers out in front. Touch the floor, hug the pit of belly in and up so you can lift and roll the shoulder blades down. Start to walk forward. Go to the point that you are comfortable and pause. And then ask yourself if you want any more. If you want a little bit more, perhaps all we need to do is bend the elbows just a smidge. Gaze down at the fingertips or the thumbs so we can keep the back of the neck nice and long. Now we'll slowly walk back. Uncross. Okay. Honoring your hips and your body this morning. I'm going to move the mat. You know what that means? We're going to be kind of scooching along a little bit here. I'm going to scooch back so I have room. As if we are doing wide leg windshield wipers. We're going to take the feet, walk them a little bit wider, and just start by dropping the knees to one side. When you do that, I use the arms just to help me counterbalance so I can sit up straight. Then we'll take the legs over to the other side, use the arms. Take one or two of those just to practice the motion of rocking from side to side. And then we're going to get ready to add the hips. So swoosh back to your starting positions. And this one, we just have to add that extra willpower that we're going to tell ourselves to lift the hips when we get there. So drop the feet over to one side and lift the hips. And come back down over to the other side and lift the hips. Give yourself a chance to try it. I know the first time I did this, I kept telling my hips and lift and nothing happened. So it takes a little while to make that connection. You don't need to do very many, just one or two. Sometimes the gem of yoga is finding these muscles that we don't realize we have control over, and we can find those connections and make them. And that gives us the deep core muscle strength that helps us in the long term with core stability. All right, so we're all done with that. We'll take the legs out and wide, whatever variation you would like them to be. Doesn't have to be super far. Ground down through the heels. Push enough, remember, so that we have a little bit of space underneath the knees. Ground down through the hips. We're going to inhale the arms all the way up. Spiral the arms, the chest, the torso, the belly button, everything over the left leg. Inhale, lift and lengthen. As we exhale, we're going to hinge from the hips and reach beyond that left leg. Gently bring the hands down. It may be helpful here to take the right hand to that right hip and just push on it a little bit. Make sure you're firmly grounded on that side. Then take a few breaths. I always talk about it like a little salmon ladder. As we inhale, we lift the belly literally up a little bit. And as we exhale, we soften and fold. Inhale to lift. Imagine you're climbing over that leg, and exhale to fold. We may not actually be moving at all, but it's the intention and the energy of creating that progress and that gradual movement. And I find it much more easy and better for the muscles to do a dynamic stretching where we're using the breath to inhale to lift and exhale to fold. If you do some of the other practices like yin or other flexibility training, they really have you just sit in that place of discomfort for a very long time. And I think here we can kind of touch on it and ease into it, make a little progress without having to sit there the whole time. All right, we're gonna hug the pit of the belly in and up, extend the arms out, thumbs up to the sky, lift all the way back up. Whew, take everything to the right side. So spiral the shoulders, the chest, the belly button, lift on the inhale. Exhale, hinge over that right leg. Keep the left hip down. And then gently let the arms come down. Gaze somewhere on the shin, the knee, wherever you want to be so that we have the back of the neck nice and long. Use the breath. Inhale to lift the chest and the torso a little bit. Exhale to soften and bow. Move with your own breath here. The benefit of our gentle practice is that the pace is a little bit slower. So you do have the opportunity to marinate a little bit in these shapes and postures and feel that edge and the place where the body is starting to grip, and simply sit there and let the body know that you're not going to go beyond that place. And then we can feel the muscles start to release and soften as they realize that we're not going to go anywhere. When you're ready, hug the pit of the belly in and up, arms out, thumbs up to the sky, lift all the way back up. Turn the hands down, let them float all the way down. Okay, we'll do a fun one we haven't done in a little while. Right leg underneath, left leg on top. Now, ideally, we are trying to put the knees sort of close together. That may or may not happen. The important thing is that we do not sit on our heels. So it's okay if the heels come in nice and close. This may be enough. You may decide you don't need anything else. We're going to take the spider fingers out in front, hug the pit of the belly in and up, sit up tall, roll the shoulders down and back, and hinge a titch. You may not move very much. I don't feel like I moved at all, but if I visually, mentally tell myself I hinged forward, I can create the energetic intention of the fold without really having to physically strain. Breathe into that left hip. Slowly walk back. This is the fun part. So the top leg is wrapped around to the right. So I'm going to take the hands, follow that top leg, plant the hands, lift the tush, and walk in a full circle behind me until I come around to the front and cross my legs. I can show you again if you missed it. Okay, take the top leg, follow it around, hands press, tush lifts, walk in a full circle all the way around, and the legs cross themselves. It's magic. When you get settled, this is not like the perfect spot. So when you get settled, give yourself permission to adjust. You don't have to stick it. It's not gymnastics. We're not holding up scorecards. Get adjusted. The differences between the sides will be quite apparent. Be nice to them. Hands come out in front. Inhale, lift, roll the shoulders down and back, walk the fingers, and maybe just touch the fingers to the earth. Close the eyes, hinge a smidge. Send the breath, deep breaths into those places of tightness, wherever it is that you're feeling it. And then gently come back. Hands are going to come behind the body, fingertips point towards the body so that we can lean back and gently uncross, straighten the legs out in front. All right, we'll sweep the legs around to the side to come into tabletop. Wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet flat on the mat. Make sure the shins are parallel. Move with your own breath. Inhale, soften the belly, roll the shoulders back, gaze out. As you exhale, tuck the chin, scoop the tailbone, hug the pit of the belly. Make this your own. We do this all the time. Find your rhythm. Get lost in your own movement here. We'll meet in neutral spine. Hug the pit of the belly in and up. Extend the left leg behind you, toes touch the floor. So we've done this part of the posture a lot. Push into that heel so that you really feel like your whole left leg is super activated. And then see if it would be possible for you to hug the pit of the belly in and up and hover your right knee off of the mat. Maybe yes, maybe no, right? So I'm pushing into the hands, pushing into my left leg super strong so that I can gently hover my right leg. And we'll switch to the other side. Right leg comes out behind, toes touch the floor. Same alignment we do when we extend the arm. I'm watching that right hip to make sure it's level. Hands come down, push into the hands, push through that right heel so much that I can hug the pit of the belly in and up, and perhaps hover that left leg just barely off the floor. And then gently come back down. We'll switch to the other side and we'll just do the normal kind of bird dog is what they call it. Left leg out behind you, right arm out in front, right thumb up to the sky, hug the pit of the belly in and up. Inhale, lift to lengthen, flex the foot, reach through the fingers. You can lower on the exhale, lift on the inhale, or you can hold and hover. Decide what feels right for you this morning. Nice and long through the back of the neck. We'll let everything come down and switch sides. Left arm out in front, thumb up to the sky, right toes out behind you. Hug the pit of the belly in and up. Inhale to lift, flex the foot. Perhaps use the exhale to lower or hover. Always make it more your practice than mine. Keep gazing down at that right thumb or just at the edge of the mat. We'll bring everything down. Knees open wide, big toes to touch. Sink the hips back into a little child's pose. Find a happy arm position for you. If you have a block nearby, it may be nice to put your chest on a block. Lots of options for props that you may have. Soften the shoulders towards the earth. Follow the journey of the breath. We'll sweep the arms out in front and over to the left side. Walk away from the body on little spider fingers and then subtly add a little push into those fingertips so that you feel the hips sink back. That activates the whole side body. Surrender the forehead, level the shoulders out, wrap the armpits towards the face, and then soften into the shape. Maybe let the palms come down to the earth, let the elbows drop, or leave the hands active, whatever feels nice to you this morning. On an inhale, we'll take it through center. Then exhale over to the other side, reaching long on the right side, little spider fingers walking away, and then gently give a little push into the fingertips so the hips sink back. Ears should be in line with the elbows. Wrap the armpits towards the face, level the shoulders out, and surrender to the shape. And we'll slowly come up to the center. Rise back up into our little tabletop. And when you're ready, we'll take the right leg out to the side. Inner edge grounds down, and double check before you come up that your left hip, left knee and hip are in line, and we'll slowly rise up. When you make it up into your high kneel here, we're going to dial the right toes up to the sky. It's important that we push actively into the heel so that we have a little bit of a bend here. What we don't want is for this leg to start to ground down and have all that energy pushing through the knee itself. So make sure that you're active just like we were when we had the wide legs out, pushing into that heel. Sweep both of the arms all the way up. Inhale tall. We'll gently lower the right arm down to the inside of the leg. Push a little bit into the leg, enough that you feel your belly button start to spiral over to the left side. That'll keep the torso in line. Inhale to lift. Exhale to drop towards your right foot. Let the right arm move along the leg as much as you need to, pushing a little bit into the heel, pushing into the back of the hand. Perhaps dial the nose in the direction of the top elbow, maybe not. Breathe. Sweep the arms all the way up. We'll take them over to the other side of the mat. Left hand comes down. When we bring the hand down, your leg is going to slide a little bit. That's perfect. Left hand gets ground down through the earth, right arm up to the sky. Push with the bottom hand so you feel really active in the top hand. What would it feel like to invite the top leg to lift? Maybe one or two. If you're really hardcore, you could flex the foot and hover it. You don't have to. Just that muscle connection with the brain. Dial the right toes down towards the earth, sweep the top arm overhead, palm towards the floor. Push the bottom hand into the earth, push the hips forward a little bit to help support the lower back. And then you could bring the gaze towards the elbow on the top or not. Slowly walk the hands around in front and make your way back into tabletop. Right leg comes back underneath. Any movement that you want here, that may be rocking the hips from side to side, that may be a little cat-cow, maybe a child's pose, whatever you want this morning. And of course, we have to do the other side. So when you are ready, left leg out to the side, inner edge kind of grounds down so you can double check right knee under the right hip. If it's not there, move it around until it is. Obviously, if this is difficult on the knee, you can pad up with the blankets or with the mat itself. Come all the way up, dial the left toes up to the sky, push into the heel, sweep both of the arms all the way up. Inhale to lift. We're trying to reach from those bottom ribs all the way up. Exhale the left hand down. Push a little bit into that hand so the belly button spirals out to the side. That you'll feel that in the shoulders. It rotates those shoulders. So when you're ready, inhale, lift. Exhale, tip towards those left toes. Let the bottom arm slide along the leg. Push into the left heel. Push into the left hand a little bit. Perhaps dial the nose up towards that top elbow. Try to feel space all the way on the right side ribs. Powerfully lift both arms all the way up. And sweep them over to the other side. Right hand comes down. Left arm lifts up. And see if you can tell that top leg to hover. And then put it down. Or lift, whatever you feel like you want to do here. And then when we're ready, ground down through the left heel. Plant the toes like we're pointing that foot. Top arm sweeps overhead, palm towards the earth. Push the bottom hand and press the hips forward a little bit just to make sure that the lower back is protected. Gaze anywhere that feels comfortable for the neck. Opening up the side body. We'll slowly walk the hands back to tabletop. Any movement that you need, shimmy the hips out. And we already did some pretty good ab workout, so we'll just do one knee hover and take it up into downward facing dog. So find your neutral spine, tuck the toes under, hug the pit of the belly in and up, scoop the tailbone towards the knees, flat back, lift the knees off the mat, hover as long as you want. You can add more by pushing hands towards the top of the mat, feet towards the bottom. And whenever you're done, send the hips all the way up to the sky. Come up on the tippy toes, deep bend in both knees, scoop the tailbone up to the sky, wrap the armpits towards the face. Slowly let the heels come down wherever they do this morning. You can always move the feet back a little bit or walk the hands forward if you need to. Wrap the armpits towards the face, shake the head a little yes, a little no. Hang out in downward dog as long as you choose. We will meet in a forward fold, so you can take hands and feet together or walk the feet up or walk the hands back, however you choose to get there. When you get to your forward fold, deep bend in both knees, belly resting on the thighs, drop the crown of the head towards the earth. Inhale, start to lift the back, halfway lift. Hands come out in front. We're almost making like a tall table here. Flat back, arms straight, legs straight. Pay attention to the feet. Is all of your weight in the toes? Could you shift back a little bit and bend the knees a tiny bit to find softness so that you can scoop the tailbone up to the sky? And then reset, bend the knees, full fold, drop the crown of the head towards the earth, scoop the tailbone up to the sky, let the legs straighten however much they straighten. I don't straighten that much. Inhale, lift the torso, straighten the arms, straighten the legs, play with the weight, shift back and forth a little bit, softness in the knees so we can scoop the tailbone up to the sky. Big bend in both knees like we're sitting in the invisible chair. So we can drop the hips below the tush, sink the tush note nice and low, press all the way up through your chair. Arms can come up, and just big stretch, take up space when you get there. It might feel nice to do Some empty coat sleeves. Everybody has to do the mandatory pant adjustment. I'm not the only one. There we go. Swing the arms from side to side, pivoting up on those little toes, swinging the hips from side to side. All right. We'll do a little bit of our Karate Kid work, stepping to the top of the mat. Double check that there's nothing behind you. We don't want any roadblocks. When you are ready, plant the feet, pick up the toes, suction down, soften the knees, zip the thighs together, roll the shoulders back. We're gonna ground down on that left side so we can pick up the right leg. Thigh is parallel to the floor. But notice, the same way we do that leg strap stretch, notice what's happening to the right hip. Did you hike it up? And can you gently roll it back down so that you feel evenly grounded? We're gonna bring the arms out on either side. As we inhale, arms come overhead, right toes touch behind you. As we exhale, come back to the starting point. So move at your own pace. When you inhale and touch those toes behind you, really make that connection and notice the wiggle. There's always going to be a little bit of wiggle. All right, we'll come back to the starting place. This time we're going to inhale the arms overhead, and as we exhale, we're going to hinge forward like we do for walking tree. Extend the leg behind you, softness in the front leg, so you can plant the toes behind you and stand. So when we come up, we're kind of leaning forward. So we're going to take a big bend in the back knee so that I can pull my torso over my hips. Then we're going to push through that back heel. Squeeze the thighs together. Your right heel does not touch the floor. It's okay, it's hovering. It's all good. And bring the arms back up overhead. Reach forward and push yourself back to the top of the mat. Shake it out. Whew. Okay, other side. When you're ready, toes come up, suction down, soften the knees, zip the thighs together, roll the shoulders back, prepare. Shift into that right side so you can lift the left leg, pay attention to the hip. Did it hike up? Can you hold it back down? We'll come to the starting place, arms out at the side. Inhale, arms up, toes touch behind. Exhale, back to the starting point. I was touching the wall. So when you're ready, inhale up, exhale back to the starting point. So we're simply making sure that we know what it feels like to put the toes behind us and touch back. Then we'll come back to the starting point. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward. Extend the toes behind you. Softness in the front leg so that you can reach behind you and touch. Then big bend in the back knee. Let the arms come down, pull the chest over those hips, hug the pit of belly in and up, press through the back heel, squeeze the thighs together. And then when you're ready, arms come up, hinge forward, really feel strongly connected to that back leg so it can push you to the top. And shake it out. All right, do some tree work. Any tree shape or posture you like, any props that you want, whatever this looks like for you this morning. I'm gonna move forward so I'm all the way on the carpet, not half on the mat and half on the carpet. Whatever variation you are working on, find your footing, pick up the toes, suction down, soften the knees, zip the thighs together, roll the shoulders back. Pause in mountain pose. This is the potential energy of every posture that we could possibly imagine. Shift into the left side, pick up the right leg. First and foremost, it's a hip opener. So we open the leg off to the side. And then take the foot and put it wherever you want it to go. High tree, low tree, anything but on the knee tree. If you're working on a different variation, like a chair variation or something else, you are welcome to work on that. It does not matter to me. You do whatever you want to do. Squeeze the foot and the leg together wherever they are so you feel that strong belly. And then allow the arms to come into whatever variation you want. If we're stacking weight for bone density, hands come together so everything's in the midline here. But that's not always comfortable for the shoulders. It may be better out to the sides. One of my favorites is to hug the elbows in, turn the palms up, and open the hands out to the side. Really open in the chest and soft in the neck. And it's okay if you wiggle. Whenever you are ready, right leg comes out in front, straighten it, put it down, shake it out. And we may feel like beautiful sunflowers on one side and funky dandelions on the other. They're all flowers, they're all trees, they're all valuable. Pick up the toes, suction them down, soften the knees, zip the thighs together, roll the shoulders back. Always build that foundation for success. Move everything into the right side, pick up the left leg, open the knee out as much as you can. Slide that leg wherever you want it to be. High tree, low tree, anything but on the knee tree. Squeeze the foot and the leg together so that you feel yourself rise up and pull that right hip back to the midline. And take the hands and let them be whatever expression you want. The arms do not have to be symmetrical. And if you're feeling a little wobbly this morning, try and look beyond the computer. Find something on the wall, a picture, a window, something outside that's not moving. While trees are beautiful, they have a lot of movement in them. So just remind yourself, if you're wiggling, it's okay, they do too. Could you gently, the same way we did in one of our earlier postures, could you gently push the hips forward? What does that feel like? Does it give you more stability? And anytime you're ready, left leg comes to the center, straighten it out, put it down. Whew. Take a breath in case you were holding it. We do it sometimes. All right. Let's do a little bit of goddess work. We haven't done that in a while. Feet nice and wide. Step them out. Toes dial out because our knees are going to go out. Hands come together, wrists crossed. As we inhale, we're going to sweep down and exhale, push up. Doesn't matter how many you do, maybe 2. That might be all you want this morning. Maybe 3, whatever's your jam. All right, and then we'll meet in goddess pose. Palms towards the face, little fists, super strong. Nice. Now we know, just like warrior 2, we're kind of subtly pushing the knees behind us. There's a lot of activation here. Let's play with our heels. Could we lift one and put it back down? Could we lift the other and put it back down? And before we lift both, we really got to hug the pit of the belly in and up. Super strong belly before we lift both. Oh, look at everybody. It's so good. Nice. Let the hands come down. Let the chest rock forward. Gently drop one shoulder in, gaze over the other. Gently drop the other shoulder in, gaze over. You can do one more each side if it felt nice. Resist the temptation to push into the arms and wring yourself out like a little dish rag. That does no good for our little spine. And we'll slowly come back. Stack the chest over the hips. Really sink into that posture and powerfully press up. Arms come up. Big reach and let the hands come down. Dial the toes in. We're going to go down through Malasana Prayer Squat. We'll come back up one time. So I'll try and make it a quick first Malasana Prayer Squat and a slower second one. So feet booty distance, toes out, of course, because the knees are going to go out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, sink down. Run through your little checklist when you get there. Elbows, wrists in line, knees squeezing, elbows pushing, head reaching. And anytime you're ready, arms out in front, push all the way back up. Nice, and we'll go right into the next one. Exhale, back down. Hands in line with wrists and elbows pushing into knees, knees squeeze back. Can you roll the shoulder blades down the back? Take the right hand and put it down on the floor. Keep pushing into your knee for stability. Take the left arm out in front. Could you look at that left thumb and move it a little bit? It is a balanced posture, it's not your imagination. Bring the left hand down to the floor, do the same thing. Push that left elbow into your knee, plant the left hand, then lift the right arm. Follow that finger, come all the way back. Nice, and then dismount however you plan on doing that. Gracefully, not gracefully, carefully, hopefully. We're gonna take it all the way down to the floor. Take with you your strap, if you have one nearby. Remember, it doesn't have to be a yoga strap. It can be a robe tie. It can be husband's necktie. It can be a scarf, all kinds of things, whatever you have got available to you. But give yourself a moment when you get there. So just enjoy lying on your back. Knees bent, feet planted. Take a few reclined cat cows, focusing on what happens with the lower belly, as if we had a little string in our belly button. As we inhale, let that belly rock up so much that we could almost put a hand behind the lower back. And as we exhale, scoop the tailbone towards the knees, flat back. Just a few rocks, lifting and really cementing the lower back to the mat. And we'll come back to the starting point. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees open wide. When we open the knees wide, we get short-waisted. So take the elbows, plant them on the sides of the body, walk the shoulders up the mat a little bit, and then pick up the head, tuck the chin, and reset. It's subtle, but it makes it so much easier to breathe when we have that little extra space. Let the arms come to a place that feels natural as you roll the shoulders under the body. Squeeze the soles of the feet together so much that the thighs spiral out, the knees hug towards the earth, reach through the hands, curl them into little fists, wrinkle the face, wrinkle the brows, squeeze the feet. And then slowly control the release. And ask yourself if your hands would be more comfortable somewhere else. So fingertips on the hip bones, hand on the heart, hand on the belly, maybe cactus arms. Vogue your way around until you find something that feels comfortable to you, and then soften into it for a few breaths. Bringing awareness to the shape of the body and the muscles as they release or soften and surrender. And squeeze the thighs back together. We can hug the knees into the chest, rock them around a little bit, rolling out the hips, the lower back, whatever you need here, big circles or little circles. And remember to go both directions. We always have one way that we instinctively roll, but we want to make sure we go both directions. And we'll plant the feet back down. Let's lift the right leg up high to the sky, point and flex the foot a few times, and we'll meet with the foot flexed, reaching through the heel, pulling the toes towards the nose. Take the right ankle over the left thigh and open the right knee out to the side. Hug the pit of the belly in and up, lift that left knee in towards the belly, lift the left foot enough that you can see left foot over that left knee, over the left hip. Don't let the left knee move towards the belly button, which it wants to do. Decide what you're doing with the hands. They can, of course, come behind the left thigh. They can come over to the right thigh. Does not matter. And if it's difficult to reach the hands together, this is a great place to use that strap that we know is nearby. Flex both feet to protect your knees. Pick up the head, tuck the chin, reach through the back of the neck a little bit. And then that last little piece, just to make sure that we're getting the most out of the posture, is to hug the pit of the belly in and up and scoop the tailbone towards that left knee. It adds a little bit of a curl to it, but it really cements the back onto the mat and gives you the strength of your core muscles. One more breath here, inhaling that left knee into the chest, exhaling to roll the right knee out to the side. Gently plant the left foot down, lift the right leg up high, put it back down. We'll switch to the other side. Left leg lifts up, reach high to the sky, point and flex. Maybe roll the ankle around if that feels nice. And then we'll meet left foot flexed, pushing through the heel, pulling the toes towards the nose. Left ankle over that right thigh, open the left knee out to the side, hug the right knee into the chest. Lift the right toes enough that you see toes just beyond the knees, all on the right side of the body. Hug the pit of the belly in and up, scoop the tailbone towards that right heel or right knee, and then decide where your hands are going. Once you get the hands in position, then pay attention to the chin. It's moving the arms to grip that causes the chin to lift up a little bit. So lift the back of the head, tuck the chin. Should make it a little bit easier to breathe. And then flex both feet. Using the inhale to hug the right knee in. Using the exhale to push that left knee out. Same mechanics of a lot of the other shapes and poses. Externally rotating that left thigh. Keeping the foot flexed helps protect the knee joint so that it can open out to the side. Anytime you're ready, right foot comes down, left leg lifts up high, gently bring it back down. Left leg stretches out long on the mat, bring the right knee into the chest. Squeeze it into the body and out to the armpit, into the body, out to the armpit. Bring it back to the center point and flex a little bit. Take it across the body into a twist. Stack the hips on top of each other and decide what you want to add here. It is a twist all by itself. By name alone, it is already a posture. So you don't have to add anything. But if you wanted to, we can refine it a little bit. We can make sure that we have weight distributed in both shoulders. Maybe yes, maybe no. If you don't, take the left hand out to the side, flip it over, walk away from the body. It's the equivalent of gently scooching the torso to the left. And then you could pick the head up and make sure that you see the hips in line. Maybe even pick up the foot so you can see that everything's all in line. If there's any strain on the lower back, do not let your top knee drop towards the earth. That adds extra pull, so you don't have to do that. If you like the piriformis stretch, hug the knee into the chest so that you can get a little bit of a massage in the piriformis. And obviously, if you want the neck stretch, drop the left ear over to the side and sweep the right arm out, little snow angels. Or you can take the bind. These are all just options that you have available to you. You're certainly welcome to do the tour and take them all. You're also welcome to simply breathe in a soft and easy twist, refining the alignment, making sure that your bottom knee feels like it's somewhere near the middle of the mat, that you have a little bit of activation in the belly, that you have weight in both of the shoulders, that the chin isn't jutting up to the sky. There are always things that we can tweak before we add more. Like a ribbon, not a rubber band. Let everything go. Rock the little hips out, maybe some wide leg windshield wipers before we drop over to the other side. Walking the feet wider than the mat, gently rocking the knees. And then when you're ready, right leg out long on the mat, ground down through the heel, dial the toes up to the sky, squeeze the left leg into the belly, and then out towards the armpit, into the belly, out towards the armpit. Come back to the center. You can add a little point and flex or a rolling of the left ankle here if you want to. Then take the knee across the body into a twist. Stack the hips on top of each other. Hips face the wall. Chest is open to the sky. Instinctively, as soon as we twist here, there's hardly any weight on that left shoulder. It's all on the right shoulder. So take the right hand, flip it over, walk it away from the body so you can lift the right shoulder up. It's the equivalent of scooching the torso to the right. And then add anything you want. Neck stretch by dropping the right ear over the side, taking a bind if you choose to, reaching for that bottom foot. If you take a bind, or even if you're working on moving that bottom leg, we're trying to take the knee to the midline of the mat. This is another posture when you take the bind that can really be a stretch that comes from the lower back, which is not the intention. So to make sure that we don't do that, we hug the pit of belly in and up and scoop the tailbone towards your bottom knee. That will fire things up on your right thigh and you'll know that you're doing it right. Wherever the arms are, try to make sure the palms are up to the sky. That helps open the shoulders and create space. What's going on with the chin? Do you need to pick up the head and tuck the chin a little bit? And just reach through the sensation of the body And see if there's anything gripping, anything that you could perhaps invite stillness or softness. And then gently release, we'll roll back to the center, hug the knees in, rock them around a little bit. Then we'll plant the feet down on the mat, knees up to the sky. Last little reclined chair. So we're going to pick up the same way that we have to worry about the torso in our cobbler's pose. Plant the elbows, walk the shoulders up, pick the head up, tuck the chin. Make sure you feel like you have a long torso. Hug the knees into the chest. Lift the feet, flex those feet, and lift the toes just beyond the knees. We're trying to find that 90-degree angle behind the back of the knees. Hug the pit of the belly in and up. Scoop the tailbone towards those heels. Flat back. Hands can come in front of the face. Thumbs pointed towards your nose. Gently move the knees towards the bottom of the mat until you feel that lower back starting to lift, and then squeeze them back in. Breathe and regroup. It's always about doing it with proper technique and posture. It's not about doing a bazillion of these. Hug the pit of the belly in and up. Scoop the tailbone towards those heels. Gently move the knees towards the bottom of the mat and hug it back in. You don't have to do very many. Do as many as you choose to do, as long as you can breathe. When you're done, we all hold our breath. I do too. Put your feet down. Ask yourself if there is something left undone. Is there something that you need for your practice? If you'd like to take another twist, perhaps a bridge pose, maybe a little happy baby, anything that speaks to you. And if you're not sure, I'm a big fan of just starting to rock a little bit from side to side, rolling a little bit. And usually the body will say, oh yeah, that's it. That's what I want. And if it wants nothing except Shavasana, then you are in luck. Just stretch out, take up space, build the foundation for your success. Take it seriously like any other posture. If you have props that you like to use, gather them and use them. And it is a myth that Shavasana has to be laying on your back, especially when you do yoga outside. You can do forward facing belly lying, you can do side lying, anything that feels comfortable for you. The posture is meant to release the body to the earth, to systematically tell all the little muscles that you don't need them right now. And as you work through your little mental scan, inviting softness and stillness with all the things that you meet. Let the hair be heavy. Let the jaw be soft. Let the tongue hang heavy in the bottom of the mouth. Soften the throat. Roll the shoulders into the mat. Reach through the arms and let them be heavy at the elbows and the wrists. Awareness, no judgment for whether the hands naturally have their thumbs against the earth or dialing up. Just let them be where they are. Stretching through each leg, feeling the heaviness in the hips, the air behind the knees, the heaviness in the ankles and the feet. And for the next few moments, be an observation of the breath, allowing the inhales to bring lightness and abundance, and allowing the exhales to root you into the earth, nourishing you from the backside, connecting you to the community, to those near and far. In a few moments, I'll ring the bell and invite you back. Invite your mind back to the space. If you have an eye pillow or anything over the eyes, or even just opening the eyes, try to be aware of the colors before you open the eyes, gently bringing them back into the space. Perhaps reaching overhead with a big sigh or a yawn, full body stretch. And in your own time, you can hug the knees in, rock from side to side, and eventually press yourself up into a seated shape. Eyes can be open or closed. Careful to press up and let the head be the last little piece that lifts up. When you're ready, we'll inhale and sweep the arms all the way up, palms to touch. We'll bring them down to the forehead. May your mind be full of positivity and possibility. To your lips, may your words be full of kindness and compassion. Into your heart center. May your heart be full of passion and purpose. Namaste. Thank you for being with me today. Oh.